Howdy, everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business psychology and marketing and how you can use those in your business daily and long term. Today, I'm talking with Shelly Berman-Rubera, who is president of Small Business Results and an accomplished business strategist and communication expert with certifications in business management, business coaching, and emotional intelligence. Our signature offering is The Truth About Succeeding in Small Business. She also has more than 35 years of success with turnaround strategy, business trends, identifying outdated systems. She has a strong passion for speakers, thought leaders, and small business owners, and is an author and sought-after speaker as well. So, Shelly, how are you doing today? And take a minute and let our listeners know anything I might have missed.
Good morning, everyone, or just about good afternoon. Thank you so much, Tad, for having me here. It's a really brief bio. I wrote it. I like it. It really does speak to who I am. I've been an entrepreneur for over 35 years and really love what I'm doing, using all my skill set and helping a lot of people. Very satisfying.
Okay. Super. Today, we're going to talk about some of the things that brought Shelly where she is today, how she did that, and hopefully how that applies to you, the listener, and what you might be able to take away with. So first thing I was going to start with today is there any one business or life decision that you've made that you wished you could have done differently?
So the question made me laugh a lot.
Okay.
So there are many things that I will not share on your show.
That's fine.
That, had I known, would I have chosen something different? But from a business standpoint, and I'm sure many people will disagree with me, but if I was to do one thing over, I would have gone to business school. I would have gotten an MBA. And I am who I am without it, but I'm an avid reader. I had a lot of life experience, but to me, it doesn't matter whether you're going to be a dentist, a lawyer, an Indian chief, a coach, or getting that hardcore business knowledge to do anything, to launch anything, still be an entrepreneur. I do wish that I had gone to Babson and had that experience of international students and financial learning and just a lot that an MBA can bring to you before you go off and make all your mistakes. And
yeah, you're still going to make mistakes. I mean, that's not going to keep you from mistakes.
But what a base of knowledge. Yeah.
Understand. I highly agree with that. I don't have an MBA. I've got a master's in accounting and a bachelor's in business. And I love that I've got it. I mean, it has helped me a lot. Now, today, sitting here, I'm not probably using all of it or, a good piece of it, but a lot of that came from life experience. Like you said, you've kept reading, you've kept educating yourself. So, you never really stopped. So, you
need both, but in order to run a good business, you need to figure out who you are and where you want to be. You need that core knowledge, and then you can go and make your mistakes and your failures.
Are you on?
Also make great success with a little bit more of a knowledge base. So I feel strongly about it. If I could have done something different, I would have gone to.
That would have been. Okay. So what along the same lines, what is one business or life decision that's worked out really, really well for you that you did and you think, everything's different after I did that?
And I love the question, Tad. I really do. So we all need to go through life to figure out where we're going to be. And sometimes we don't have that complete answer. But in starting the businesses, I started a dance school. I owned a personal training company. I had a leadership company. And when I started the leadership company, it was in 2009, landed great accounts. But with the downturn of the economy, really found myself for the first time, not only in trouble, but found myself in corporate America and did not want to be there, So at that time, I had to figure out, who am I? What is my talents? Where do I want to show up? And I was able to realize in the most profound way that I love growing, I love building. And then it made sense to do this for other people, not to keep reinventing myself. So to end up being a business strategist, which includes working with people. I mean, companies are only as good as the leader. So working with business, business leaders, creating strategies for success. I literally feel like what I'm doing is exactly what I was born to do. It taps into every inch of my creativity, my thought process, consequential thinking. Like I literally am happy doing what I do. And I think that translates to my clients, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I agree it would.
yeah, the biggest decision is to really trust that process, and that I've ended up being able to figure out who I am and what I want to do. That's huge.
It is. I totally agree with that. Along those lines, as you go through the day to day, week to week, month to month, if you're like me, if you're not like me, you're great. But if you're like me, you get stuck on little things. Like I get writer's block in writing sales copy. There's other things, tasks that I don't really want to do. So I'll go, do a simpler task or something else. But, so I don't have to do that, or I don't want to do it. Is there any tips or methods that you use going through these kinds of things, if you get stuck, that you use to get yourself unstuck?
Another great question, Tad, really. So my mom was a very profound therapist. And this was years ago, And one of the things she said to me before getting stuck was kind of what all therapists and life coaches use as are you stuck? I can get you unstuck. Are you stuck? Right. So my mother had said to me years ago, the very worst place to be in life is stuck. That kind of is a huge message for me. It's always been a big message, which brings me to how I handle it. We all get stuck. We all get, in a place where we can't think, we can't do, we can't write. I mean, I've been there actually recently. My computer died on me for like 5 days until they came to repair it. Couldn't do anything. Like you're just and exhausted from the stress of it. So my strategy is really that you need to take time to think, just to let go, surrender to the stuckness. It is what it is right now. And to understand that we call it PMA, present moment awareness. It is where I am right now, right? It is where I am right now. Doesn't mean I'm going to be there tomorrow. Doesn't mean I'm going to be there the next day. But part of what keeps us stuck is fear, right? So we get to that point where people every around me is saying to me, why aren't you a complete wreck? You have no computer. Like, why aren't you a wreck? So I'm only as stuck as I feel I want to be. So you'd say surrender. It is what it is right now. I can't fight it. 1, 2 is it's what I do for work. I really believe it's a thinking, it's strategy. Step back and just think. Trust the process and think. I call that strategic thinking, right? Because we don't know what we want to do next. We can't get to it. We can't.
That we're stuck. Yeah.
Right? So like, what if you were stuck in a hole? You have to stop and think about what are we going to do to get that foot out of the hole, right?
To get out of the hole, right.
So first, 1 is strategic thinking, and 2 is what I literally love is consequential thinking. So if you took a piece of paper and you're writing your strategic thinking, then you have 2 arrows. 1 says, what happens if I do that? What happens if I don't do that? Very often when we step back, or for me personally, if I step back, okay, I cannot get any of my clients' work done right now. What's my best outcome? Okay, I'm going to surrender. I'm not going to walk around here screaming, crying, right? Dell said they'll get here when they get here. So I called every client. I thought, what's my outcome? I called every client and said, I know you needed this yesterday. It's not going to happen till next week. I have a computer glitch. Right? So it's consequential thinking. What's the best outcome? What's going to happen if I don't? Right? And that's how I handle every single situation for me and my clients when we feel stuck, is to strategically think, consequentially think, and then take some action step, right?
Yeah.
Say you're stuck writing, Tad, then I would say, strategically, what is it you wanted to write about? Can you just write some bullets? Can we write 10 bullets and not write? Can you step back and think about the process? And my experience is all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, I know what to do. Give me my pen. And it just like comes out of you.
Well, when you mentioned that, I mean, that is one of the things that I do. That is, in fact, my favorite solution to writer's block is, I think, what some people call just free writing. I take one phrase and I just start writing about it. I don't think about what I'm writing. I just write. And literally by the time I get to the second or third sentence, I'm unstuck the block and I start just, oh, I want to say this. Oh, I want to say that. And but to get there, I have to start. And I have to do the things you were just talking about. I never heard PMA before. I think that's a wonderful way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, that is excellent. I love that. And
two quick things I do also.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have the thought, but not the writing. So I'm telling you, text to message to texting, I record. I just start talking, right? Then I send it to a Word document, and before you know it, I read what I said.
Oh, that's excellent.
I'm not kidding. I read what I said, and I'm like, all right, though, this isn't bad. It needs grammar. It needs developing the thought. But sometimes, I mean, it could be the middle of the night, and I'm like, wait, I know what I wanted to say. Text, and I just text to voice to text.
Right.
I wake up in the morning, and it's there, and I can basically finish it.
Oh, I'm going to steal that. Shelly, I am stealing that. That is because I will wake up and I will write 2 words, 3 words, a phrase to remind me what I was thinking about the next morning. But I still got that kind of block. But if I did that, that's a step before what I do now that I think would make my world a lot easier. So
that even happens in the car, Chad. It's like I'm driving and I'm thinking to myself, oh, wait, I know what that client needs to do. I just say, Ellie needs to blah, 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 blah. By the time I get home, I already can just turn that into an email for the client.
Oh, this is a wonderful idea, but I got a problem now. I'm gonna have to get a waterproof phone because some of my ideas come in the shower and I'm not taking my phone in the shower. Excellent. Okay. That is great. I love that. So last question is, if you had to start over, and you kind of answered this in the first, and I asked this as kind of maybe not rhetorical, but related to the first question. If you had to start over, what would you do different? And I know you mentioned that you would look to the business.
Yeah, I had a different answer for you, Ted.
Okay.
So being a woman in business, being the emotional center of the family, being a businesswoman my whole life,
mm-hmm.
One thing that I would have done differently was to let me see how to put this, maybe create greater boundaries around my giving. So there was times when my poor mom really was needy and I would
mm-hmm.
ask for help, but no one gave me help. And I also, there are many, many instances where I overgave. Mm-hmm. And didn't take care of myself. And so it was later in life when my mom was calling me 4 or 5 times a day that I started to not answer the phone every time she called, or things around the kids, like my daughter would call me to go to the school 3 or 4 times a day and I'd be, okay, I'll be right there. Like there are many things that I would do differently in terms of setting greater boundaries for my caretaking than I did, because looking back, it's not that I feel like I could be further along. I'm great with where I am, but the cost to us at overgiving, it's detrimental. It's detrimental. Learning when to say yes and when to say no. And I've never been good at asking for help. And sometimes when I asked for help and people didn't show up, I'd be like, all right, just forget it. I'll do it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the time, I should have seeked out, professional aids or other ways in which I could have gotten help rather than doing it all. And that's an important message for me to put out in the world too. It's hard enough to run a small business than it is to run a family, than it is to take care of a mom or anything else, let
To do
alone
all
add
that,
COVID
yeah.
to the top of that.
Yeah, no, to do all that. And I agree. I think one of the things that I would do different is learn to say no sooner. That no's okay. And that no can actually be a gift to the person that you're giving it to. You know, sometimes even more than you not saying no. But anyway, that fits with me as well. So really appreciate you bringing that. And that is very different from the first question. So, or first answer. So appreciate that.
I couldn't answer the first one personally, but I could answer the last one personally.
That's great. All righty. That is awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time today to be on the podcast. Is there anything that you want to share that we may have missed, or that you have to offer people, you know, that they can come to you for, that you'd like to mention now?
I mean, I always offer a 20-minute complimentary, you know, are we a good fit? Because I'm a small practice, so I don't take everybody. You know, we have to be able to work together. On my website, there is a package called Strategic Assessment. And that package really lets people, and myself and a client, get a real sense of where they are and what it's going to take to get them where they want to go. And also to help them figure out where is it that you want to go, because many times people don't know that either.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would say, you know, I can offer the 20 minutes and also to take a look at that strategic assessment.
Okay, excellent. And the links are going to be below wherever this podcast link or this video link is listed. So everybody, please feel free to check out Shelly and her offers. Thanks again. Really appreciate your time. Thanks everybody for listening in, and hope everyone has a safe and productive week and be the very best at what you're doing. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens with Micro Success Secrets. Bye for now.
Bye, Ted.